Hey, what's going on, family? It is ThickChickVlogs. I want to remind each and every one of you guys to go over and subscribe to ThickChick TV. That is my other channel where you guys can get the longer videos about current events, things that are going on in the news, and just random talk bullshit like that, okay? This is going to be a Dear Thick Chick video, okay? This one right here is a little bit more sensitive, so I'm going to try to be as serious as possible in this video, okay? But if you guys have any questions that you want me to ask, there are no limitations. Hence my video yesterday. I have a big dick. Yes. Hence that. But the email address is always in the description box down below. The email address is DearThickChick@hotmail.com. When you send me an email and you want some advice, be sure in the subject line to use the hashtag DearThickChick, okay? I don't have the email pulled up because I am sitting in my car for old time's sake. You guys know this is how we used to vlog, so I decided to come out to my car and do this particular vlog right here. But so I don't have the email, so I'm going to kind of be paraphrasing. But this young lady sent me an email, and she sent me an anonymous email, so I don't know who this email came from. But the young lady said that, if you guys don't remember, I told you that I used to work at an abuse shelter for women and children. She explained to me that she's in an abusive relationship. She doesn't have any family, and she doesn't have anywhere to go. So she kind of feels like that she is, you know, basically trapped in the situation that she is in, and she feels like there's no way out. She said when she got with this man, everything was all gravy. Usually that's how it is when you're dealing with someone who is abusive, who is, you know, whether it's physically or verbally or mentally or whatever. That's usually how it starts out. It starts out where it's the bomb.com, and then the person just, out of the blue, just, you know, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So she said that, you know, she does have family, but she said that he has basically isolated her so much from her family that now she pretty much can't turn back, because she basically, I guess, you know, when she got with him, she disowned her family. He told her you can't talk to him and all this type of stuff. So she feels like she has no family. And she was basically asking me for advice on how to get out of the situation, being as though I did work with people who were in those types of situations before, because I did work at an abuse shelter for women and children. It was basically a place where when you decide that you want to leave your abusive spouse, you had somewhere to go, and it was in an undisclosed location, and we basically took care of these people until they got on their feet. It is a non-profit organization that I used to work for, so I'm going to give you the best advice possible. When I tell you, honey, I really, really sympathize with you. There are so many women in the world today that deal with these types of situations, but let me tell you, never feel like you are in such a bad place to where you have to stay with this man. I know you feel like you don't have anyone to turn to, but there are resources that you can, avenues that you can go down in order to get out of this situation. You do not have to stay with this man who is physically abusing you. You didn't mention that he's physically abusing your children, but you did say that he's physically abusive to you. So I'm pretty sure that if he's abusive to you, he abuses your children as well. Let me tell you, I don't know where you live, because you didn't mention any states or anything like that, but I do want to encourage you that if you are, matter of fact, I don't care where you are, send me another email and I will give you resources on places that you can go. And don't think, I know sometimes you may think that it's a shelter to where, you know, you're going and you're sleeping on a cot, and, you know, they really not feeding you in places like that. No, these shelters are not like that. There are a lot of shelters for women who are in abusive situations that you can go to, and they will basically care for you. Okay, let me tell you, for example, what we did for the women. When they came to our shelters, a lot of times these women came, they didn't even have the clothes on their back, because they literally had to get out of the house when the man was at work, or maybe he went to the store, and they literally ran away from the house with their children to get to a safe place because they were being abused. We actually have paid for bus tickets for certain women, like if they lived in a different state and they called and, you know, they needed to get out of that location because the guy was probably going to be trying to look for them, because, you know, that's what a lot of people do. We actually paid for bus fare for people to come to our location. When they came to our location, if they didn't have clothes, we provided them with clothes. We provided them with food. We provided them with, they had their own room. The women with children, they had their own room, them and their children. If you are a single lady and you're in an abusive relationship or something like that, we also provided, you know, you with a place to stay. But the thing with that, it was kind of like a dorm room style with the single women, because, you know, when you have people with children, you kind of want to get them their own little space, because, you know, you got children and you want to, you know, kind of separate them a little bit. But the single women, they actually had, it was like a dorm room style. They had a room where they had their little bed. They had their area to where they had a dresser. They could set up their things and all that type of stuff. And then, like I said, if they did need to start completely over, we helped them with that. We provided them with vouchers to where they could get clothes. And we took them to the unemployment office. We actually had women who came with literally nothing but the clothes on their backs. And they literally stayed there. And because you can stay in some of these shelters up to 2 years. I know the one that I was working with, you could stay there up to 2 years. Then after 2 years, we help you, you know, find your own place and all that type of stuff. We've actually helped people get very, very good jobs. We actually help people find homes. And we have all of these charitable organizations that come down, and when the women find a place to stay, you have these charitable organizations that actually help them fully furnish their homes. We've had a lot of people that do that. For Christmas, these women had to worry about nothing. I mean, literally, there were so many organizations that would actually come down, churches and things like that, that would actually adopt each one of the ladies and their children, and they would have, I mean, an extraordinary Christmas. I mean, Christmas is to where they've got amazingly amazing things that my parents weren't able to afford me, and they had very, very good jobs, you know, so you're really not hurting for anything. So let me give you this little piece of advice. Never feel like you're so trapped in a situation that you have to stay behind and continuously get physically, mentally, verbally, or emotionally abused by someone. Girl, I'm trying to look. We gonna keep rolling. Yes, but my camera fell off the thing. But we gonna keep it rolling because we are trying to be as serious as we possibly can right now. But I never feel like you are so just in a situation to where you can't get out of it, because there are avenues, there are resources that you can you know, take advantage of to get out of that situation. Whether you have to leave when he's at work, or whether you have to leave when he's at the store, or whatever. Because, I mean, a person who is physically abusive to you, that person is, I don't care how many times he tell you, baby, I ain't gonna never hit you again. That is the biggest lie I've ever heard in my life. We've had women who have came to the shelter who were getting physically abused, and they would actually decide that they wanted to leave because, you know, they just wanted to go back because he told them that he wasn't going to do it again. But let me tell you a little bit about our shelter. And a lot of times they thought we were a little too strict, but we let them, they couldn't have any phone calls to the house, from males. They could have female callers, their mothers and things like that, but no males could call, because a lot of times they would actually find a way to contact these men, and the men would be calling, you know, they'll get in their ear and they'll tell them, yeah, you know, come back, I'm never going to hurt you again. And they end up leaving the shelter, going back to these people, getting abused again, and they're calling, trying to get back into the shelter. And once you do that, we do not let you back in. I know that may sound harsh to some people, but, you know, you have to understand that there are rules and regulations when you enter a lot of these abuse shelters. We have counselors that come down and they counsel you and the children. They also have daycare centers at a lot of these shelters where you can, you know, during the day, they actually have drivers to where the drivers will take you to the unemployment office, to the library if you need to go, so you can do a little bit of research on things, to job interviews. The drivers, a lot of people are like, well, I can't get a job because I don't have a car. They have drivers at a lot of these shelters that will actually transport you to and from work. Yes, the one that I worked with did that. They actually transported the women to and from work. We also paid, yes, they had grants that paid for the women to go to school. We had a lot of women who actually went back to school and got degrees. We had one girl who went back to school and got her RN. while she was there. Normally you can only stay there for 2 years, but they allowed her to stay there until she got her RN because they saw that she was really trying to create a better life for her and her children. So never feel like you're in a situation to where you have to stay behind where this person is physically and mentally abusing you. And especially now that you say that he has isolated you from your family and you feel like you can't contact them, you never know. If you call, I'm pretty sure if you call your mom, your dad, your sister, or brother, whoever, you know, is in your family, and you explain the situation to them that this person was physically abusive to you, you never know. Your family will, if they have a heart, your family will let you back in. A lot of times when these women are physically abused, they're so emotionally messed up that they really feel like what this person is telling them is okay. They feel like it's okay for this person to tell them, I'm your husband now, you don't really need to talk to your mother. And we may think it's stupid and dumb, but when you have a person that is really being emotionally and physically abused and they feel like they have nowhere else to go, they really feel like that is okay. So let me just be the first person to tell you that you do not have to stick behind because you feel like you have nowhere to go. There are resources, there are avenues for you to take if you feel like you have nowhere to go. If your family decides that they want to tell you that they want to have nothing else to do with you, feel free to contact me and I will put you in contact with some people who can possibly help you and give you some resources as to places that you can go, because there are ways out of situations like this. Never feel like it is okay for a man to hit you because you feel like you have nowhere else to go. You can create a life for yourself. There are resources. To anyone out there who is being physically and emotionally abused, never feel like that is okay. There are resources. Don't feel like you're alone. Don't feel like you have no one else in the world but to stick by this person who is physically abusing you. There are resources. And if you need some and you can't find any, be sure to send me an email at DearThickChick@hotmail.com and I will be more than happy to oblige. Like I said, the email to anyone who wants some advice is always down in the description box below. Do not forget to go over and subscribe to ThickChick TV. That link is also down in the description box. I want you guys to leave comments in the comment section below for this young lady who feels like she is just lost and she's being physically, mentally, and verbally abused, and she feels like there's nowhere to go. Maybe some of you guys have been in situations like this to where you can give her a little bit more personal advice, but coming from a person who has actually worked with a lot of women who have been physically and verbally and mentally abused, I can tell you that there are ways out of that situation. Never feel like that is okay. Never feel like you have to stay in that situation because you feel like you have no one, because trust me, there are avenues that you can take to get out of that situation. And I will talk to you guys in the next Dear Thick Chick video. Again, leave your comments in the comment section below. Go over and subscribe to Thick Chick TV. Also, if you want any advice or you have anything that you want Thick Chick to give you her opinion on, or you want some advice on, email me at DearThickChick@hotmail.com. All of that information is down in the description box below. I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.